We're the assemblers. This is our project 2. This is our basically just step-by-step what we wanted to do. We planned a schedule, collaborate. Everybody did their parallel programming and their arm assembly programming. And then somebody was writing the report, and then here's our presentation. I'm Josh Taylor. I'm the coordinator on this project. So for me, I had to prepare, plan, schedule deadlines, and assist the team any way I could, and try to just make sure everything was seamless, like transition to the finish line. The task I was assigned myself was to invite and email the TA Kexon Dean. I created a table and assigned the team like specific tasks, and then tasks 3 and 4, which everyone had to do. This is just a image of the Slack. We had created a new channel for the project. It's project A2, and then you can also see that Kexon Ding has joined our project. Some of the things I've learned are the importance of multi-core computers, how it increases the abilities of the computer to perform multiple tasks simultaneously. I also learned more like efficient use of the terminal on the Raspberry Pi, and then ways to be better organized and help a team accomplish a goal. What I've learned through this was a better understanding of computing and how processors help and work and benefit, and then this will benefit my knowledge in the workforce and future assignments that I'll have. The best part of the project was learning more about the Raspberry Pi just from the components and what it does, and the worst part, the most challenging part, was being the person that sets deadlines. I don't really ever do that. Somebody usually has to tell me, but it was also very rewarding to do that.
Hello, my name is Deanna Anthony. My task was to format the final report and get everyone's report sent to me. And then also my task was to do the task 3 and task 4 like everyone else. So in this project, I built on what I learned from last project. And so I was able to learn how to write better assembly code and write math equations. I also learned about single and multi-core processors. And I thought that was interesting about how more computers nowadays, or companies, are using multi-core processors. How I will apply what I've learned was that I will apply my assembly in making equations for my lab and for my next projects. And then in life, this project has given me more information on how computers work using multi-core and single-core processors.
My name is Mosley. My task for project 2 was to get everybody on the GitHub and get everything, restructure everything for project 2. This is just an outline of the GitHub and how it looked when we finished up. What I've learned how to use parallel programming. I've also learned how the Raspberry Pi is laid out, and I've also furthered my development in ARM assembly, and I feel like I've developed my abilities for communication and working in a group. I feel like I can apply this to future assignments because I have a better knowledge and understanding of the Raspberry Pi and just ARM assembly in general. This will be useful for future assignments because I'll have more knowledge on how to do it. Like, I feel like for this project it was much easier for me to understand Raspberry Pi because the first projects I've experienced. So the best experience was actually pushing my files to GitHub, and it was actually my worst experience for the first project, but with a better understanding, it was more simple. The worst experience was trying to view the memories in the Raspberry Pi. It was a little confusing, a little bit frustrating, but worked it out.
And I'm John Arthur. I'm assigned with tasks 5 and 6 and 3 and 4. So in this project, I learned how to do parallel processing and multi-core and single-core processing. I also learned how to work in groups and better meet everybody's demands. Also learned how to better use assembly language and basically creating the files and executing the programs much easier. Also learned how to push the code onto GitHub. I'm still learning how to do that for real, but yeah. My best experience is working with a great team, and my worst experience is navigating through the Raspberry because it's very complicated and it requires a lot of trial and error. Also, in the next project or in the future, I will know the basis of parallel programming so that I can much better utilize the memory of the Raspberry Pi, and also learned how to assembling code in Raspberry Pi.
Our fifth teammate's not here. She's had somebody pass away in her family, so we're just gonna kind of present for her. She is Natasha Mullings. Her task was to edit this video and to put it onto the YouTube channel. This is the link for our YouTube channel, The Assemblers. Deanna did a great job with the first one. And she says for what she's learned, as with any programming, doing spell check is vital. Despite how small the error may seem to the programmer, it can prevent the program from running. It verifies that the computer can only do as much as we let it. And then she also said how to examine the memory in more depth than I did in the last project. I was able to further explore the values for the memory in different addresses. For how she'll apply what she's learned, she said, I'll be able to apply this new knowledge whenever I am writing a program, because I'll be able to examine what is going on the inside. I will continue to explore the use of a multi-core CPU. For her, the best part was the ability to write a code and it being executed successfully. More practice makes writing the program a lot easier. The worst part for her was having to push it to the Git repository. And then another part she said is determining what chain of commands allows her to push it to GitHub was another struggle. And that concludes our presentation for project A2. Hope you enjoyed it.